If I could only have 3 lenses for all of my video and photo work, it would be these 3 lenses. And it's not so much the exact brand and make of these lenses, but really the focal length and the base traits of them. Now, I'm a Sony shooter, but you can really get these lenses across all camera systems and in different brands. So in this video, I'm gonna share with you guys the strengths of each one individually and how they complement one another and work together as a whole. So guys, stick around. So just to give a quick background on the type of work that I do, I come from the real estate business, small businesses, the corporate space. And so I do a lot of real estate listings. I do a lot of about company videos. I also do a lot of lifestyle videos for entrepreneurs and small business owners. So I've done a wide variety of all different types of videos, and I never really needed more than these 3 lenses. So the first lens we're gonna talk about is the Tamron 2875 f2.8. And really this could be any type of mid-range zoom that has a constant aperture of 2.8. And what's so special about this type of lens is that it's probably the most versatile lens that you can have in your bag. You can go as wide as 28, right, to get those establishing shots, to get those shots that show the environment. And in the same lens, you can go to 50 to get those medium types of shots, to get to really start to know your subject. And then at 75, you can get all the detail shots that you need. And for photography, you can get the wide group shots, right, at 28. Then at 75, obviously that's pretty much a portrait focal length. Having a 2.8 is really versatile because it's still gonna allow you to get a really blurry background, not as much as prime lenses where you can go all the way down to like 1.2, 1.4, 1.8. But it's still gonna let in a lot of light, and so that's still good for low light. Mid-range zooms like this are so versatile for run and gun situations where you need to go from wide to tight really quickly. And it's also really useful for just B-roll in general because you don't always have the time on corporate shoots and small business shoots, especially if you're doing talking head stuff or interviews. You're not gonna have a lot of time to get B-roll and set up B-roll shots. So having a lens like this is gonna save you so much time and still get really good quality. And later in the video, I'm gonna show you how much more versatile this lens can be when you pair it with these other lenses. And so our next lens on this list is a wide angle zoom, a 16-35 f4. So like I said, I come from the real estate world. And so if you don't have a wide angle lens, you're not gonna do well. You absolutely need a wide angle lens for those interior shots, those exterior shots in listing videos to really show the whole space, and also to magically make rooms look bigger than they really are. And so the reason why I think a wide angle zoom is much better than just getting a wide angle prime is that you're still gonna need that coverage, right? That the mid-range zoom kind of gives you. So you could get the 16mm, wide shots, and then you could go to 24 and you can get part of a room from a different angle, a different movement, and then you could go to 35 to get, like I said, like those detail shots of maybe the fireplace, maybe the wood floors, maybe some beams even. And it's really versatile to have all of that in one lens. And this lens isn't only valuable for real estate listings, it's also really valuable for run and gun type situations or vlogging situations. Like say you're trying to follow an entrepreneur or something, or a business coach around. It's really useful to have something like this where either you're going from an outdoor space or really a tight indoor space. You can go all the way to 16 and still get everything in frame. And then when you need to get more detail shots, 35 isn't exactly a detail focal length, but it's still gonna give you a decent blurred background. And so then the question is, why not get a 2.8 aperture like we did with the mid-range zoom? And a lot of the time it just really comes down to cost. If you're gonna get a 2.8 constant aperture wide angle zoom, it's gonna be almost double the price, no matter what camera system you're in. Also, when it comes to the type of shots that you're usually gonna get with a wide angle, like say for interiors or real estate and stuff like that, you're gonna stop down the aperture a little bit anyways. You're usually gonna be at 5.6 or above because you're trying to get a lot of it in focus, right? You wanna get all of the room in focus. And so you're not really gonna need that 2.8 in most cases, at least in my case. And so the last lens on this list is the 35mm 1.8 prime lens. So in my opinion, every video shooter, every photo shooter should have at least one prime lens in their bag. And the reason being is that you're gonna get a certain quality and a certain stylistic look that you're not gonna get from zoom lenses. And it all comes mainly from the lower aperture you can get in prime lenses. So why 35 over say a 24 mil or a 50 mil or an 85 mil prime? I think that 35 is really in that perfect sweet spot of it's not too wide, but wide enough, and it's not technically a portrait lens, but you can get some really nice portrait shots and detail shots with this lens still. When it comes to most types of photography, especially lifestyle photography, the 35 mil is absolutely my favorite photography lens. There have been shoots where I would set this up and then also another tighter focal length on the other camera, and I don't even end up taking any pictures on the tighter focal length. I just do all of them on the 35. It's wide enough to get those group shots, you know, if you're doing family photography, and it's wide enough to get those really nice stylized lifestyle photography shots where you can show the environment, you can show what they're doing, but still really get the focus on them. And then if you want to get tight, getting closer to get more portrait shots, it's not going to have that distortion factor that you could get with wider lenses like a 24 mil, and so it still looks really flattering. And then having that slightly wider focal length paired with the 1.8 aperture just really gives it a unique look that I really like. And then when it comes to video, this is probably my favorite lens when it comes to the A-cam when I'm shooting interviews or any type of talking head video. Because when you're shooting any type of talking head video, your main camera is usually going to have that wider angle, and then your B camera is going to have the tighter angle. And like I said, the 35, it has that unique quality of being wide paired with the 1.8 aperture, just really gives it a unique look that I really like. And so now I'm going to talk about how these lenses work together. And so I just mentioned how I use the 35 mil a lot of the time for my A cam in talking head interviews and videos. And so for the B cam, I'm usually going to use the Tamron 28-75 and zoom it up to somewhere between 65 and 75. And what's cool is that with the 2.8 at a tighter focal length like that, it's really hard to distinguish if you had a lens at the same focal length at a lower aperture. Just because of that compression factor you're getting with tighter focal lengths, it's almost going to look the same. And so having a wider angle lens like a 35 that has a low aperture, it's still going to give you that blurry background in the main lens, and then you're going to get that nice bokeh quality with the B cam with the 28-75. It just makes a really good pair. And then when it comes to the videos where I'm mainly using the 16-35, I can pair it with, again, the 28-75 when I do need to punch in for tighter shots or for more detailed shots. And so then now you're probably asking, well, what if I need something more than 75 mil, right? And I would say in my case, I haven't really needed it. Maybe 1% of the time I've needed something longer than that. But what's cool about Sony cameras and a lot of modern cameras is there's features where you can crop into the image in camera and really 1.5 times your lenses. And so like a 75 can really turn into like a 130 mil, and that's like more than enough that I would ever need, right? But if you are a sports photographer or videographer or any other type of event, you're definitely going to need more telephoto options, right? So I really believe that this is a great all-around trio of lenses that you can't go wrong with if you're shooting anything similar to the type of work that I do. Again, if I was only going to choose one lens, it would be the mid-range zoom, because you could do so much with it. You could do almost everything with it. So guys, if you have any questions about any of these lenses or just lenses in general, if you want my advice, please leave them in the comments. If you found value in this video, please leave a like and a sub. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.